earphones or headphones because it's a completely different experience. So to get the most out of ASMR, especially if you're new to ASMR, you need headphones. Let's begin. Now, it's been a while since we've reviewed a wine country, and we're pretty much done with the basic countries, but the secondary countries, we're never gonna be done with those because wine has been produced all around the world. Regardless, today we're visiting a country. I'm not sure if it falls under the category of New World or Old World. Probably neither. Let's add a third section. Let's call it the Ancient World. Today we're visiting Lebanon. Now, Lebanese wine has been produced since ancient time, so we go way back here. Today I have a bottle with me, red wine from Chateau Kefraya. I'm probably gonna mess up the pronunciation, so if you're from Lebanon or if you speak similar language and you have the same pronunciation, feel free to correct me. And I'm not sure if you've tried out Lebanese wine. You've probably at some point in your life tried Lebanese food, but wine. Once again, if you've tried out Lebanese wine, you're probably familiar with Chateau Kefraya or Chateau Musar. It's another very famous winery. Now, this bottle that I purchased today, that we're going to review today, is interesting for two main reasons. First of all, it's a very old vintage. So it's a 12-year-old wine. It's a vintage of 2009. We're gonna decant it, obviously, because it needs air, it needs time. And Lebanese wine, for some reason, for some unknown reason, tend to, let's just say that you can age it for decades. So purchase a bottle, store it, don't worry about it, open it whenever. Second of all, it's a very interesting bottle, interesting wine that we have here with us today, because we have a varietal, a blend of 5 different varieties, and I believe it's the first 5 blended wine that we're gonna review in the channel. So let me just recap. We have Chateau Kefraya from the Bekaa Valley. The region is the Bekaa Valley. It's where all the decent Lebanese wine is produced. 13.5 alcoholic volume, and the blend is Cinsaut, Cabernet Sauvignon, Syrah, Tempranillo, and one more. What is the other one? And Carignan. So I'm not very sure about the percentages here, but I believe I read somewhere that the dominant variety is Cinsaut, which is a bit weird because Cinsaut is usually used as a blend, and is pretty much never the dominant variety. The vineyard is located at an altitude of 1,000 meters. Good altitude to be producing wine, and the vineyard the estate has been with the Bustros family for generations. However, it wasn't until the 1950 where the estate became a vineyard. Okay, so previously it wasn't a place to produce wine. As I was saying, I read that the blend is approximately around Cinsaut, which is the dominant varietal here. So we have 5 grapes once again, and it's, to be honest, it's quite difficult to detect the wine varieties if we're talking about a blended wine and we're doing a blind taste. So if you pour me a glass and it's a blended wine, I'll be confused. 100% honest here. If it's a single variety, I can detect the variety, and so can you probably with the things that we've learned. However, even if it's a single variety, when we're talking about Cinsaut, again, it's very difficult to get to know what variety, well, to taste, to do a blind taste and detect the Cinsaut variety, because Cinsaut grape has such a general aroma, so it will be strawberries, maybe cherries, nectarines, apricot, things that we find in most varieties. So it hasn't got a significant scent. So that's a little bit about Cinsaut, and it's also used usually as a blended varietal. Now, and also here it's a blended varietal, but it's also the dominant varietal. So 65% Cinsaut, the rest percentages I'm not sure, but conclude the other 4 grapes. Now, personally, I've never visited Lebanon. Would love to. And I have a couple of Lebanese friends. So, quick shout out to Nadim, Chad, Yasmin Ali. And without further ado, let's begin. Let's open the bottle. Let's give it a little bit time to breathe. 12-year-old wine. And I'm excited to see what we got here. Let's do this. So we have our decanter right here. A white wine glass suited for red wine. So above the decanter, the wine glass also, due to its width, will allow the wine to breathe in the glass, our corkscrew, and the wine. And I'm not sure if you can see the cap on top, but I really like the detail here. Okay, I'm not sure if you got that. Anyway, so I'm gonna stop talking now and open the wine bottle, decant it into the decanter. Maybe I'm gonna, well, not maybe, I'm definitely gonna pause the video, because I'm guessing it will need at least half an hour to adapt to the environment. This guy has been sleeping for 12 years, so let's wake him up and let's see what this wine will offer us. Quite tough to purchase a Lebanese wine in my country, so they're not very popular here. However, we made it as always. me just show you the bottle real quick. Chateau Kefraya, Lebanese, I think that's how you pronounce it. That's how the French pronounce it. If you're from Lebanon and you're watching this video, feel free to correct me. There's an ASMR YouTuber, ASMR artist, Raffy Taffy. I think he's from Lebanon. I'm not sure. I don't know him. He seems like a very cool guy. Great ASMR artist. Huge channel. I've been watching him for a couple of years. Anyway, let's do this. Approximately around 15 minutes have passed. I opened the bottle and left it here just to give it a small introduction to the environment. And I think we can decant it right now. So let's move on to the second part, the decanting. Okay. Let's see. I do get the scent isn't the best right now. It needs time, but the color is a typical aged wine. Let's see if we should have some sediment. I'm going to show you in the bottle right now. Let me just see. The correct way to do this would be to have placed a candle underneath the bottleneck just to detect when the sediment would start flowing. I think we're fine here. Well, surprisingly, yeah, okay, I can see a little bit here. Surprisingly, we have minimum sediment. Sediment is what has been built up. It's like dirt. You get like soil. You'll see in aged wine. And you know, here I was expecting sediment, but as I said, for some reason, Lebanese wine, they can age for decades, and maybe this could go even longer. So let's place the bottle here. And I'm gonna have to pause the video once again. Leave this for 30 to 45 minutes. Get some air into it. I'm glad we can actually review an aged wine. I'm not sure if we went 2007 with the Romanian wine, but that was way past its age, its peak point. And I believe here we're gonna get something good. So I'll see you guys in a second. We're back. Now, probably it wasn't the best idea for me to do a decanting of an aged wine this time at night, because you know, currently it's very late at night, and well, regardless of this, let's see. So it's been approximately 35 minutes, and let's try it out. Okay, let's give it a sniff. Let's see what we have here. Let me just say that there's a difference between a bad wine, obviously, and a newly opened aged wine. What I mean by this pleasant. But be careful, it doesn't mean the wine has gone off or the wine is bad. No, it just means the wine needs time. And I've heard so many stories of people having exceptionally good wine bottles and opening them after, let's say, 15 years, and as soon as they open the wine bottle they get this unpleasant scent and they're like, oh, it's bad, throw it away. Disaster. Don't do this. It needs time. The first smell you're gonna get is not gonna be pleasant. Give it a while. Give it half an hour, maybe even 2. It's gonna completely change. It's gonna alternate, and it's gonna be magnificent. I promise you this. So let's see if we're ready here. I'm just gonna pour a little bit. Let's see what we're gonna get. Let's go. Okay. This should be enough for me. We are ready. It's fine. It's more than fine. It's very pleasant. Okay, so fruit first of all, which is kind of weird. Let me just top it up a little bit. Okay. The color is your typical aged wine, meaning when I tilt it, and to be honest I should have a white surface underneath, but anyway, when I tilt it, it is like a ruby color, and on the tip of the wine right here it starts to fade out and we get this brick color. The more orangey it gets, the more aged the wine is. Now in the previous episode, I think it was the previous one, we talked about the legs of the wine being produced. The wine produces some tears, some legs on the side of the glass, and they can tell us the approximately the percent of alcohol there is in a wine. So here, slow legs, thick legs, and uneven legs. Oh yeah, if this isn't a myth and we can follow the rule, then this is a highly a wine with high alkalicity. And usually when wine has been aged a long time, the alcohol tends to rise a little bit and the tannins tend to soften out. But I've heard stories about the Lebanese wine where the tannins are still powerful. Let's see on the nose, guys. A little bit of pepper, black fruit, like blackcurrant and raspberries. And once again, it needs time to open up. Earthy aromas, smoke, leather, limestone, soil. A little bit of hibiscus. Hibiscus, how'd you call this? Maybe a little bit of hibiscus. And, well, it's fine right now. It gives me a lot of things and it is quite pleasant, but it does still need a little bit more time. However, it can be consumed perfectly fine. said, it's very late at night and I can't pause the video for one more hour. So cheers on the palate. Let's see what we got. Strong tannins. So the stories about the Lebanese wine are completely true. First of all, huge aging potential. Second of all, they break the rule of softening out the tannins while aging. So very strong tannins, especially for a 12-year-old wine. Not much to taste over here, let me see. Spicy, a little bit of chocolate. Oh, the tannins are just crazy. So chocolate on the finish, a little bit of wood. Very intense. So chocolate, coffee, a little bit of coffee, a little bit of wood and spices, so you can get the character right. From the things I'm mentioning, you can detect the character of the wine. I can't believe how powerful the tannins are for a 12-year-old wine. So it's round, good structure, quite balanced, although the tannins just mix it up a little bit. And anyway, let's give it also a little bit more time for the balance. Good texture to it. I would rate this around 88 points. Pairing, when we're talking about food pairing, food and wine pairing, I would go with meat, okay? So lamb, beef, your typical pairing for a red wine. To be honest, I cannot detect so many varieties here. If I was given this class without no information, I would go with Syrah. However, it's a 5 grape blend, as we said: Tempranillo, Cinsaut, Carignan, Syrah, and Cabernet Sauvignon. So I would go with Cabernet Sauvignon or Syrah, to be honest. Let's see, I'm also looking for, we have wood here, but I'm also looking for vanilla and, well, your typical aged flavors. Even though vanilla is mostly in white wine, vanilla and butter. Guys, go with a Lebanese wine. Definitely, I'm definitely highly suggesting this because it's quite of a different experience. Try it out. It will expand in your horizon. And yeah, 88 points. Chateau Kefraya, great job. I definitely want to visit Lebanon, and I'm also going to leave this probably overnight. Well, I'm going to drink it tomorrow night, and I'm pretty sure it will alternate, and not only a little bit but quite much. Anyway guys, thank you for the company. This was Chateau Kefraya Vintage 2009 from the Bustros family, 13.5%